While cleaning the yard, the girl suddenly noticed something terrifying, a single red flower growing nearby. Startled, she quickly plucked it out, then buried it in the soil, because she knew if anything red appeared in the village, the red creatures in the forest outside would come looking for them. But those creatures feared one thing, and that was the color yellow. So the villagers painted yellow markings on wooden posts, creating a protective boundary. For many years, the villagers and the creatures had kept an uneasy peace with each other. No one dared leave the village and enter the forest. Yet such an unexplained rule naturally sparked curiosity among the younger people. On top of that, the village had no medicine, so they had to cross the forest and travel to town to buy it. Nick believed the creatures in the forest could somehow be moved by kindness. So he picked a red flower and secretly brought it back to the village. That same night, something strange happened. A villager on watch suddenly saw a figure dressed in red passing by. He immediately rang the alarm bell. The moment the villagers heard it, they panicked, then rushed quickly into their homes. Among them, a blind girl waited outside because her father had not returned home. She insisted on standing by the door, slowly reaching out her hands as if she could sense her father approaching. But instead, the red creature appeared. At the critical moment, Nick pulled the girl inside the house and hid with her in the cellar. Luckily, the creature only came as a warning, since no one understood why the monsters had suddenly approached the village. The village elder decided to sacrifice livestock, hoping to calm the creatures. But that brief period of peace lasted only a few days before everything was disturbed again. One evening, while the villagers held a dance, the alarm bell rang once more. Several children came running, saying the creatures had returned, and this time, they wanted to drive everyone away. Seeing the panic, the village elder ordered everyone to return home immediately. On their way back, people made a horrifying discovery. A skinned animal had been hung from the roof. It looked like a final warning from the creatures. That night, the blind girl found Nick and told him to figure out who had crossed the boundary. The village elders had decided to hold an investigation. During the conversation, the atmosphere between Ivy and Nick suddenly shifted. Feelings they had buried for years finally surfaced. The next day, the village's simple-minded boy, who had always loved Ivy, came to visit. They had all been good friends for years. Nick understood exactly why he was there. Just as Nick tried to explain the situation, a knife suddenly pierced through him, and Nick collapsed to the ground. Meanwhile, the boy's parents had no idea what their son had done. When they saw the blood on his hands, they quickly reported it to the Council of Elders. To find out whose blood it was, the villagers began searching for the injured person. At that moment, Ivy seemed to realize something. She rushed to Nick's house and found him lying on the floor. Soon, the others arrived as well, because the wound was severe. Nick could die at any moment, and the village had no medicine to save him. The only solution was to pass through the forest and reach the town beyond it, to save the life of the man she loved. The girl had no choice but to enter alone, that forest filled with monsters. Along the way, the distant roars of creatures echoed again and again. Then a violent storm began to roll in, so they had to set up a small tent to rest. After the rain stopped, several companions were too afraid of the monsters and decided to turn back. In the end, only the blind girl remained. Because of her poor eyesight, Ivy could only move forward by feeling her way, but she accidentally fell into a deep pit. Fortunately, she grabbed onto a vine above and managed to climb back out. As the sounds of the creatures drew closer, she had no choice but to move faster. Yet along the path, she kept feeling as if something was following her, so she picked up a stone from the ground and threw it ahead of her. Suddenly, a sharp screech echoed out. Frightened, she turned and ran. Before she realized it, she had reached a place covered in red berries, and anywhere the color red appeared meant the creatures would soon arrive. By the time she sensed something was wrong, it was too late. A creature dressed in red was already standing behind her.